Welcome back to the Douglas Smith channel. It's been a little while, and tonight I'm gonna tell you my stories of my experiences with the Shadow People. Long anticipated video. So I was 7 years old the first time I noticed a shadow person. Uh, we had just moved from Lemon Grove in San Diego into La Mesa, also in San Diego County. It's the unincorporated area of La Mesa, right up behind Avocado Elementary School. And they were all new houses, tract houses. And I don't know. I never had uh, a whole lot of feelings about moving there. I knew I was going to go to another school, and I'd meet new people, new friends, and everything. And I mean, it didn't really phase me, I guess. But when we got there, it wasn't very long after living there that I would get weird feelings just from the house itself. I mean, not. I mean, it was a brand new home. Nothing had ever happened there. But anyway, on this particular night, or I should say evening, because the sun had set, but the sky was still lit up. And in California, especially Southern California, you'd have these beautiful like neon blue, sunsets with the orange off to the west. I mean, like golden, to where if you look to the west, everything was silhouetted in black. If you looked to the east, everything was bathed in this golden, light. It was really beautiful. But anyway, so we got this golden light coming in through the house, and I'm laying on the floor watching TV, and where the light's coming through, where I'm looking is off to my left, and there's a hallway, and back there's the bathroom, the laundry room, and a downstairs bedroom. And I'm watching TV, and I catch movement out of the corner of my eye, but I was like so engrossed I didn't pay any mind. But I saw it kind of move again. When I looked over, I could see on all fours was a transparent, three-dimensional, like shadow. I mean, this wasn't like one of those. This was a different kind of shadow person or something, because when I first looked over at it, it moved back in behind the corner real slow, which they never, the ones I saw in years after that, they always seem to move perfectly with your movement and stay right at your peripheral vision. But this moved, and I mean, I was so scared. I jumped up, turned the kitchen lights on. I mean, the house is still pretty lit up, but I turned the lights on and everything, and told my mom. My mom was freaking out. She said, "What? And because I like screamed. I was scared. It just the way it moved, and it was so. Its movement was methodical. You know, I you know it just yeah it made my fucking butthole pucker. So of course I searched the laundry room, the bathroom, and the bedroom, and the bedroom and the laundry room. Well, the bedroom and the bathroom. They were both completely. There was nothing in there, no furniture, and we had just moved there, so they were complete. They didn't even have a shower curtain on the shower. It was all open. There was no laundry in the laundry room, because we were brand spanking new there, and yeah, I freaked out, and then it was probably 20 minutes later I saw it again, but this time it was darker, you know, and the shadow person itself was dark. It was more like what a normal shadow person look like, and its movements. As I would look over, it would move into cover. So I could never look directly at it. And my mom saw this, and for months. I mean, I went through this whole fucking. I mean, I thought I was going schizophrenic. My mom and dad were like, "Look, this is your mind. Your mind does these things. It's, telling you, that you're seeing this. People see it all the time. It's normal. Everybody sees them. Uh, they're not real. It's just your mind playing tricks on you." And I ended up having to go with that, but it did. It took me like months to like get over it and to not like freak out on it, and especially at night. If I had to get it, there were times that I would just get up and piss in my fucking closet because I would be so terrified of running into one of those things. And seriously, or open my window, and which is what I ended up starting doing. Except, yeah, my dad was out smoking one night, and I was peeing off the roof, and yeah. Anyway, yeah, I would pee out my window onto the roof, and but yeah, I didn't want to go out of my room. I tried to keep my windows closed all the time. Yeah, it really fucking put the zapper on my head, and it wasn't until we got a dog. We got a dog, and I think I was about 10 years old. Cricket. Cricket was this undersized runt of the litter, Lhasa Apso. He was so small he actually looked like a chihuahua. He really did. If you shaved him down, he looked like a fucking chihuahua. Except this dude, this poor little miniature, tiny little dog had a crank on him. He had like it was like you put a fucking German Shepherd hog on a Chihuahua, dude. The dog could get running and his dick could get swinging back and forth, and his legs it knock him out of balance and he fall. Seriously, but anyway, I love that dog. He's great. But one night, I'm sitting there, and I always laid in that same spot right in front of the TV, and I'm watching TV, and Cricket is like laying right with me, and I'm laying there, and I'm sitting there, and I see something move out of my peripheral vision. I see something move around the corner, and right as I see it, Cricket's head pops up. And I look over, and as I look over, it moves back, and I watch Cricket's. I can see Cricket's head followed it back. Nope. um, I'm turning on lights. I'm turning on all the lights. Uh, Nobody was home when that happened, and I left all the lights on. Of course, mom or whoever it was got home and saw the lights on. What are the lights on for? I told them what happened, and later, I don't know if it was later that night or even a few days later, the same thing happened, but this time, my mom was sitting in the chair directly behind me and saw Crick's head pop up just as I moved my head over, and when I looked back at her real quick, and she just laughed. So that was, yeah. For me, that's when it became like, okay, these things are real. You know, these things are absolutely 100% real, and I'm not the only one that sees it. Other people have seen it, and we tell ourselves that some kind of brain hocus pocus fucking with you. I don't think so. Nah, for years you see them off and on. or I saw them off and on in different places. And that's the weird thing. I've seen them in places where, like, I'd be out in the desert, and you'd be in an area, and I'd swear to God, they're fucking all around me. But they'd only be in that area. You could go anywhere else in the same, you know, region of the desert there, and they wouldn't be anywhere else. They'd just be in that that area, which it was, I don't know, that's weird. We noticed that in at McCain Valley. Uh, they have a campground that's like way the hell out there. It's almost at the end of the road out there. And we had a night with them, and we were tripping too, so that didn't make it any better. Mine didn't get really bad until I started using meth and staying up for, you know, weeks at a time. That's when that's when kind of took a really dark turn, uh, where it was almost like they were trying to like interact more with me, you know, instead of me trying to see, you know, quick and look at them. They were looking, you know, they were wanting to see me. You know, I don't know how to explain that. That's not at all what I mean. They were coming closer. You know, put it like that. They were like I had one night when I had been up for so long, and it came up from behind me in the by my fish tank and walked in front of me. And when I reacted, you know, I gasped because I mean, I was fucking, you know, flipped out. I'd been up for a few weeks. I was pretty fucked up. So when that happened, I gasped, and when I reacted, it reacted too. It kind of slowed down and like looked at me, and then walked off into the darkness, and you know dissipated. That's not even a good word for it. It's like they're there and they're not there. I don't know. It's it's an interesting phenomenon. I wouldn't mind seeing some study put into something like that. I mean, real study where it's somebody just doesn't declare something. You know, is there something actually there? I mean, can you? Is it affecting the magnetic area or spectrum of light or uh, you know something along those lines? There's got to be some way of detecting it, or maybe something even you know maybe it's giving off fucking some kind of radiation or something. Who knows? But there's definitely something there, and it seems like they try to scare you. You know, especially when I was young. That was the impression I got from them. That they enjoyed frightening me because when I started to panic in those first few weeks of seeing them all the time. I mean, the more I panicked, the more I saw them. You know, I was on edge for a long time there. I had to sleep with my lights on and pee in the closet. And I did too. I fucking pissed in the closet. I did it several times before I started pissing out the window. And then I stopped pissing out the window because my dad caught me peeing out the window. I was like, "What in the fuck are you doing, man? Peeing out the window? What the fuck?" Duh. uh, yeah, it's really terrifying, especially having been up for weeks at a time and coming across them, especially in like in a neighborhood setting. Couldn't tell you how many times where I'd be walking like across El Cajon, and some areas I'd cut through neighborhoods, and I mean I'd walk down the street through a neighborhood, and 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Most of the time it never bothered me, but there were certain sections. There was an area down by Chase, up behind the old Vons there. That section of the neighborhood right there that cuts through and came out in the parking lot of the old Vons there. Oh, jeez. It was like a like a scene out of like the Planet of the Apes where shit was hopping from rooftop to rooftop and through the yards and you're being followed the whole way and your fucking skin crawling. Just I mean, yeah, it's weird how in some areas they seem to like mass, and other areas they you can go there a million times and never ever see one. So that's a couple of stories there. And recently, that's another reason I wanted to tell a couple of those stories about the shadow people, and I'll probably tell more because I did have a lot of experiences with them, and a lot of them were really terrifying experiences. But recent, like as in 2019, recent, when I first started really thinking about that again, I had the gnarliest shadow wolf thing. Okay, I'm standing in my backyard. I was high. I think maybe I had smoked some weed. I was fine. I mean, hadn't done any drugs, nothing really. But I walk outside and I was smoking a cigarette and I hear something coming across the yard. So I kind of peek around the corner of the garage and look, and I don't see anything. It's dark back there. And then as I come back, I see what looks like a fucking giant black wolf with big white eyes and a grin with teeth like a person, like squared out teeth. And it walked like real slow up close to me, and I'm telling you, I was shitting bricks. I was like, "What in the fuck is this real or what?" I mean, I was fucking tripping, and as it came into the light, we have a street light out front. As it came into that light, it just dissipated. That tripped me out. That was one of the things that just, man, it blew me away. I was just like, what in the hell? No, I know I totally have to chalk up most of those up to having been a drug addict and all that, but when I saw that, I'm telling you, I about shit myself. And then after that, I started seeing shadow people again, like here in my room, in the living room, the garage, throughout the yard. And before that, I hadn't really noticed anything, hadn't really seen anything. And then after I saw that fucking giant wolf thing, I mean, it was like a wolf, but with people teeth. I don't even have people teeth anymore. I got fucking meth nubs. Fucking meth. It's awesome till you try it. I always wish that they'd do a meth commercial or an anti-meth commercial where you know, it'd be a spoof on beef is what's for dinner. Meth, it's what's for dinner and lunch and breakfast. And we'd probably be doing bumps here and there. And the whole time somebody's just degenerating in front of your face or disintegrating. And meth is it's a gnarly drug. Don't do it. I have a buddy right now he's he's out there. But yeah, I'll uh I'll try to lay some more out a little better. Uh, and there's a few other stories that I've been wanting to tell. Well, that actually I hadn't planned on telling, but now that things are happening here for me and my time is limited, I'll go ahead and tell some stories I had never planned to tell. So y'all take care. Have a good one. Laters.